Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I poured the bottom half of these coasters with some extra white resin that I had left over that I was using. And I didn't really necessarily have a plan for them at the time, but I was thinking about it the other day and I was like, I can do something really cool with these that's outside of a coaster. It doesn't have to be, it can be just something different. So I got these really pretty, they're kind of like rose gold leaves and berries and pine cones. And I thought I can make something really, really cool with this. So that's what we're going to do. Now, I have four coasters or coaster molds that I had put the resin in. I'm only going to use three. I'm kind of thinking, and you guys can let me know what you think when you see the finished product. If you think I need to add that fourth one in and just finish it off, or if it looks good with just the three. So as I'm doing this, what I'm doing is kind of like evolving in my mind as I'm doing it. My initial thought was I was going to use all four. Then it was like, no, it should be an odd number. So I'm just going to use the three. And then after I did the three and finished those, I had another idea. So I added some letters in here and we're going to spell out joy. And now it's back to an even number, which is why I'm thinking that maybe I need the fourth one in there. And that's where I'm getting kind of like confusing myself. And that's where I need your help. So just if you can let me know what I should do, if I should add that fourth one or not, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And now back to the video. So all I'm doing now is cutting the berries and the leaves, just kind of how I am envisioning it in my mind to make it look good. And these little, they're, if you've seen any of my Halloween videos, it's the same kind of stuff that I use, like little branches or whatever, but these ones are gold as opposed to the black. And I'm just kind of cutting snippets of them and making, a hell of a mess with glitter every freaking where. And then a couple pine cones, and we can't forget the greenery. It's a lot of gold and rose gold going on. I do want some green just to kind of pop out at you. Now it's just a matter of kind of figuring out how I want it. Now, again, because I'm doing the odd number, I don't want pine cones on all of them. I just want, I think, on two where I think it would look good, but I don't want it to be the same on all three. I want each one of them to be just a little bit different. They may have all of the same components in it, but I want the arrangement sort of to be different on these. So after I finish and kind of figure out how it is that I want them on there, I'm just going to take everything off again. I know it kind of seems a little counterproductive, but I've got to kind of see it, and I'm not like some kind of floral arranging person or whatever. But so I need to kind of see it in my brain. Well, not in my brain in real life. I've got to see it, and then I'm gonna take them all off. Right now, there's like a stupid amount of glitter on this, so I had to get it off with some tape. Now I'm just using my hot glue gun, and I'm going to start gluing it down from the back towards the front, and just get everything kind of in place where I want it, and that's it. Now you gotta be careful on the leaves and the little branchy things and whatever, because it's all plastic. The only thing that actually had any wire to it was where the pine cone was kind of stuck in there. Everything else is plastic. So my hot glue gun only has the one setting, and I'm assuming it's like a high setting, and it kind of sort of melts it all. So I've got to kind of be careful how much I'm putting on and where, otherwise it's just gonna kind of like melt it to pieces. And then sticking the pine cone on. Now, this one's done, just kind of holding it in place, and now we're going to go to the next one, and I'm already loving how this is looking. Now, the reason I haven't taken it out of the coaster mold is because I am going to add a little bit of clear resin on top of this, just to kind of like, the hot glue is going to hold it for now. And I mean, I may not have an issue with it later on, but I just kind of want to put these in here permanently so I don't really have to worry about anything falling off at any point in time. It's not going to completely cover any of this, Like, it's just not. I will have pieces sticking up, even the leaves. Like, I do push them down, but they're going to come up above it, and that is fine. It's not a coaster. We're not hiding everything inside the resin. I'm just kind of using it as almost a different kind of adhesive, if you will, and just to kind of keep everything in there so I don't have to worry about anything popping off. The only thing that I will have to be careful about is these little styrofoam balls that are the berries. Kind of a little worried at this point because I've never used them in resin before. If the resin is going to melt them like the hot glue is, we'll just have to cross our fingers and hope for the best on that because I don't know. Well, I know, voiceover me knows, but the me in the video working on it didn't know. All right, so we got two done, one to go. At this point, I hadn't decided that I wasn't going to use the fourth one yet, which is why it's still there. And I really do think they look pretty. Now, this one is the one that I'm going to do without the pine cone. And right now, it's looking a little like it definitely needs something else. I also didn't want to add any greenery to this one. I want it to be just completely different. Well, as different as it could be using the same stuff. And so I decide that I need some more of the rose gold leaves and I need some more of the berries, but it's just a matter of kind of trimming it down and fitting it all in here. And that's really it. I mean, it's really simple. It really didn't take a super long time to do, and it's something that I mean, honestly, all everything that I bought aside from the resin and the coloring and stuff, was just stuff that I picked up at the dollar store when I was there. So it's not even, any of the super crazy ridiculously expensive flowers or anything like that I'm, cutting to pieces. And that's it. A little bit more hot glue, glue these babies down, and we are done with this part. I like this one too. I think it's really pretty. And now it is time to do the resin. At this point, this is where I decided that I want to put Joy on here. I'm not going to use that fourth one. And we're just going to do a little bit of the NicPro Crystal Clear Finish resin in here. It's not colored. It's just a cup that I'm reusing over again that's already had dry resin in the bottom of it. So it is clear. Putting a little bit in there, and really, like, I didn't leave a whole lot of space in my mold anyway when I poured the rest of my leftover white in there the other day. So I don't have a lot of room for the clear. And I'm not really pouring it over anything except for in that middle spot where everything is kind of hot glued down, just to make sure that it's in there really well. And I do want the resin to kind of dry over that part because that part is going to be more crucial than anything to make sure that this is all kind of going to be sitting down and not going to move. And then I'm just kind of moving it around, making sure that it completely covers everywhere. I don't want air bubbles in this, so that's kind of why I'm pushing the leaves down, making sure that there's resin underneath it all. I even though it's not going to be a lot and I'm not using it, for purposes other than really just to make sure that it's stuck in here, I don't want it to be unlevel and all of that either. Like it's got to be done right. So I am just making sure that I don't have any spaces underneath any of this stuff that I'm going to have an issue with bubbles, which I don't. And I'm just going to go over each one of these pieces real quick. Then I will hit it with a heat gun and then we're going to go to the letter mold. I thought that Joy written out in there with the rose gold alcohol ink would look really pretty. So that's what we're going to do as soon as I'm done fiddling with this. All right, quick blast with the heat gun just to pop any bubbles from me messing around. And now let's go to these letters. So I'm using some of my Rolio, I think it's pearl white. It's like super shimmer, and some rose gold alcohol inks by Naywood. It's a gorgeous color and it'll have that sparkle. And then I'm using a paper cup for this. Typically I use them just for glitter, but it's easy when you have like smaller molds and stuff to get this into, because you can pinch the cup to make the spout kind of smaller than using like a big silicone cup, or, a plastic cup like I was using earlier. It just makes it a little bit easier. So just filling that up, gonna hit it with the heat gun just to make sure that any bubbles on the surface are popped. And then we're gonna let these babies dry and come back in 24 hours to demold and put these together. I did decide that since I had a little bit of resin left over, I would just add a couple little bushy marks of the rose gold into these pieces, just to kind of tie it all together a little bit more, and so it's not quite so white. And it not a lot, like it's just a little bit, just a few, swishes of it, and then we're done. And here we are, 24 hours later, time to demold these. And I like how they turned out. Like, they're really shiny, they're really sparkly. The rose gold is just a beautiful, beautiful color. And I didn't get any air bubbles on these pieces whatsoever. Like, they are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So, now it's time to figure out exactly how I want to put this baby together. I was of two minds of it, actually three. Like, I didn't know if I wanted it to go where I had the big pieces and then the letters hooked underneath of them, and then just had them side by side, kind of like I'm showing you right here, like that would look pretty. Or if I wanted it to go down, or if I wanted it to go long ways with the joy spelled out on the side. Like, I really wasn't sure how I wanted this together. I'm gonna go with it going down though. And all I'm doing is I got my eye hooks, and I'm just kind of screwing them in after I drilled it. And if you've never used one of these little hand drills, I mean, they're they're okay. Like, mine are stupid. They like to stop moving at a certain point, which is annoying. But the resin hadn't like completely hardened up. Like, it's still at the point where it's on the softer side, and it's really easy to get your pieces in there. Because I don't know about you guys, but sometimes if I don't drill far enough and I've waited after a piece is hardened, I break those stupid little eye hooks in there in my pieces. Like, when I was trying to make keychains and stuff back a few months ago when I had first started, I can't tell you how many eye hooks that I broke inside the resin because I either didn't drill far enough down, or they're just stupid and cheap. I don't know. Uh but anyway, if you do it when the resin's still a little bit on the softer side, like before it's fully cured, then it's a lot easier, trust me. So, just going down, trying to make it even as possible, so that, because I've got to have an eye hook on the top and the bottom to connect all of these pieces together. So I want it to be, even. And it's not super hard to do. I mean, I'm sure there's probably a way more efficient way of doing it than what I chose to do. But, you know, I wouldn't be me if I didn't do stupid stuff like this and do the harder things. So all I'm doing right now is putting it together. And then after I get all of my eye hooks screwed in, then we're going to assemble it with just some jump rings. Super, super simple, super easy. Honestly, the longest part was screwing all of these holes and the pieces into them. So the jump rings that I'm going to be using are the 10 millimeter jump rings, and they're the biggest ones I've found. I don't know if they come any bigger than that or not. I figured one should be good enough. And if you've never used jump rings before, the easiest way to use them, instead of pulling them like apart, is to kind of twist them open. You get two pairs of, I guess they're pliers. I don't know what tools are called. And you kind of twist them open, and then you're going to twist them back shut. I've noticed that if you pull them apart, you're going to have a harder time getting them to go back together, to where it's not going to, like, whatever you've connected it to won't slip out. So, yeah, twist them don't pull them. Anyway, hooking in the Y, and then we're done. And then all I have to do now is to put my little string on there to hang it with. It's a pink, I don't have a pink gold. I couldn't find one, or a rose gold. So it's the closest color that I have that kind of goes with all of it. And I'm just going to kind of double it up and tie it around a knot. Now, this stuff frays really, really, really easily. It may behoove you to put just a tad of glue on the edges to keep them from fraying, and then you're not coming undone. Anyway, so I tied it in a knot, looped it together, then I'm going to loop it through and double it up and then tie it in another knot and kind of cut off the loose edges, and then that's it. We're done. So, as I finish this up, I just want to thank you guys once again. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will catch you in the next one. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Love ya. Bye.